Chauncey H. Castle. Chauncey Castle was one of Quincy's first exporters. He was born on July 10, 1843 in Columbus, Illinois. His father owned a general store before entering into ownership of the first stove foundry in Quincy with Collins, Comstock and Company.
The time period in the mid-1800s, Illinois was a frontier. It was being settled by veterans from the War of 1812. So a lot of people would come here, find their land, clear it, and build a cabin or a house. And everybody that came here by foot, by horseback, by riverboat, nobody carried a cast iron cook stove with them or a heating stove. So the stove business at that time was real regional. Comstock and Castle both had general stores, and stoves were a real big commodity at the stores, but they didn't make their own. They decided to stop doing that in about 1846 and built the first foundry and started making stoves and hollowware, which are the pots and kettles and things and frying pans that people would cook in.
Following an honorable discharge from the 73rd Illinois Regiment in 1865, Chauncey Castle began his business career as a shipping clerk at his father's business. He rapidly advanced to the position of general superintendent of the foundry and took over the management of the company in 1868. The company was incorporated as Comstock Castle Stove Company in 1884, and Castle was made the president, a position he held until his death. Castle was a founder and for many years served as president of the National Stove Founders Defense Association. As such, he was the virtual head of the organized stove industry of America. Comstock Castle was a pioneer in the stove industry in the West, and many other stove companies emerged in the area, often started by former employees of Comstock Castle. For many years, the company was one of the largest foundries in the country, shipping to eastern and western states, Mexico, and Canada.
So we've always exported. The reason Quincy grew real big as an economic hub was basically the river, and then being foresighted about this new transportation mode called railroads, and also the connection between Quincy and the wagon train railheads in St. Joe and Kansas City. So they would ship a lot of product by all those different methods.
Castle was always prominent in every move that tended to promote the best interests of Quincy. Early in his career, he became a staunch promoter of transportation and was instrumental in connecting Quincy and the area with railroad lines going east and west. He was part of a group of businessmen that was granted a franchise to start Citizens Telephone Company and another group that started Mercantile Trust and Savings Bank. He was one of the original officers of the Quincy Historical Society and sold the land for what is now Indian Mounds Park. By serving as a director, Castle was responsible for the success of multiple private corporations and nonprofit organizations, including the Chamber of Commerce, the Quincy Hotel Company, Graceland Cemetery Association, Quincy Freight Bureau, and others. Active in the Adams County Republican Committee, Castle served one term in the Illinois legislature and was prominent in Grand Army circles and the Masonic Temple. He was a charter member of the original Quincy Elks. Castle died May 2, 1909. He was 65.